Welcome back to page 121. Well, it's September 1984 all over again, and here we are with issue 89 of The Dragon, another one of the fine chess covers. This one always really got my imagination with the think tank type thing up there. I always thought it could have been a Gamma World cover, but in this issue for $3, we were promised 29 new monsters, 6 extra special shields, and 4 super science fiction articles. So let's take a look inside. First thing we see, the Relpartha Enterprises. More miniatures. These are gorgeous. I always wanted that guy with the elephant, but I never did buy him. Relpartha out of Ontario, Canada. And then we have the Best of ICE, distributed in Canada by Canadian Hobbycraft Limited. Arms Law and Claw Law and Spell Law. Yeah, I played under those a little bit in the very early 80s. We had one DM at the club I used to belong to, and he would run it. I ran 1 or 2 of his games. Then we have the fine table of contents for September 1984, and editorial by Kim Maughan about time trouble. And Out on a Limb, we can't recover different letters from fans. And then we continue on, and then James Bond 007. In Her Majesty's Secret Service. Live and Let Die, You Only Live Twice. From Victory Games out of New York. We continue on. Forum, opinions and observations of various readers. So you send in. Forum actually had some pretty decent ideas in some of these. I do remember reading those and liking them. The Science Fiction Book Club. Take any 4 for $1 with membership and get the Dragon Riders of Pern free, plus a free carry-all. I was in and out of the Science Fiction Book Club right up into the mid-'80s. I still have many, many of these books. Some of these were really worth getting. Science Fiction Book Club, where were you out of? That doesn't really say. Survival is a group effort. The effects of population growth and regrowth. It's a nice article on AD&D game worlds and how their populations affect the world itself. Villains and Vigilantes, a superhero role-playing game from Fantasy Games Unlimited. The first superhero game I ever played was the original V&V. It was a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. First World. The year is 100 million BC. A science fiction fantasy war game that allows role-playing. This is a... Is this a play-by-mail? Yep, play-by-mail. $3 turn cost out of Woodridge, New Jersey. Put yourself in the story. Traveler from Game Designers Workshop out of Bloomington, Illinois. I like Traveler just a little bit. Finishing up our article on populations, we go to Diamond Dice Inc. Over 300,000 sold master dice sets out of Park Ridge, Illinois. Park Ridge is not terribly far from where I live. Experience the realm of complete fantasy from Bard Games in Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm not familiar with those guys. Finishing out our article, we go to Playmats and Megamats. Yes, I used a battle mat. I'm sorry, it's a playmat. Battle mats and Megamats. The perfect surface for playing out your adventures. I used one of these a lot in the mid-'80s. I still have one. Haven't used it in a while, though. We use 3D figures all the time now. Write on questions about an article. You can go ahead and write to Out on a Limb in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Powers and Perils, your passport to adventure from Avalon Hill Gaming Company. I liked Avalon Hill. Before I ever played D&D, I played some Avalon Hill games. 6 very special shields, more magic items from the Mind of Elminster by Ed Greenwood. So we get some nice magical shields. I always liked the Ed Greenwood articles. This was before Forgotten Realms was published. Ed Greenwood by this time was an old favorite in Dragon Magazine, and we'd already heard a little bit about the Forgotten Realms, but we didn't see it published till 87. I always liked it because you also got the history of the magic item, not just its powers. The Wizard's Nook. Full color catalog is now available. Fantasy sculpture, posters, and t-shirts out of Plantation, Florida. Continuing on our shields, we have an article here for Hearts and Minds Recon Module 2 out of Elvin, Texas. And then, you played the rest, now play the best. Heroes Unlimited. I never played Heroes Unlimited. I always saw it on the shelf and always toyed with it, but we were playing Champions by then, and keeping up with the couple of games I was already playing, plus my comic book buying in '84 was quite task enough. I didn't branch into a lot of new games. And this is out of Palladium Books out of Detroit, Michigan. Continuing on the end of our Shields article, we have Game Master's Guide, Dungeon Master Utilities for Wiz Systems, Nichols Services out of Columbus, Georgia, Guidelines for Writing for the Dragon, from the Designers of Thieves Guild, Naked Sword, Rules and Adventures for Warriors in Heroic Fantasy from Game Lords out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. A Marvelous Adventure, Marvel Superheroes role-playing game. Why not? Let's look at the Illinois listings. Let's see, Illinois, Buyer's Hobby Shop, Woodstock, nope. Friends Hobby Shop, Waukegan, nope. Friendly Frank's Comics, yes, I did go to Friendly Frank's. I was a loyal customer in 1984 at Friendly Frank's. It's pretty neat. This Hobby Games Distributors, Lincolnwood, Illinois. Gods of the Sewell Pantheon, Fiery Pyremeus, Nasty Beltar, and Bear-like Lurg. I don't think I've looked at these guys yet. Maybe I'll do a deeper dive on them in a near episode. And this was written by Len Lakofka. Superheroes, Super Games, Super Figures, Champions, the Super Role-Playing Game. Have that, have that. I think they only did the one set of Champions figures, but I bought it first chance I had. Superhero figures back in the days before HeroClix were hard to come by. And then finishing out our article on the god Lurg. Clerics must pay for skills. Some of the Sewell deities described in 87 and 88 require experience point payments for their clerics in return for the special abilities. That's interesting. Fantasy adventurers, visit the City of Magic and stay at Ye Blind Cyclops Inn. I have this one. I use these figures all the time. I don't use the setup itself. Maybe I'll show that one of these days. Mike painted it up. Mike, my player, painted it up years ago for me. Maybe I'll show it on the channel one of these days. This is Dragon Tooth Incorporated out of New York, New York. Dragonlance, live the adventure, the epic quest. Dragons out of the dark past threaten the world of Krynn. Dragonlance was brand new at the time. Come enter the world of Krynn, be part of the challenging quest, join the heroes of Dragonlance. I bought the books, I bought the modules. We played Dragonlance a little bit. Interesting. And it was a nice start to a lot of really good stuff in the mid to late 80s. The many types of magic, whys and hows of spell categories, of the spell category system. I read this, I remember, I've never used the spell category stuff all that much. It's never been real important in my table. I can see where it could be, but it was just something we didn't dwell on. Jaroon, Leave Your World Behind, out of Sky Realms Publishing from San Francisco, California. Continuing on our article, and then we have the Companions Role-Play Campaign and Adventure Game Aids from the Companions, Bath, Maine. Cast your own fantasy figures, a special offer from the Duncan Company in Calvert, Texas. Looked into casting our own fantasy figures back in the 80s. I never did it. Atlantis, The Lost World from Bard Games, where fantasy becomes reality. Now available at Walden Books. I remember Walden Books. We had a Walden Books by my house. I used to go there all the time for stuff. You've been to Oz, Camelot, and Middle-earth. Now wend your way to Kaleva, the land of Taliesin and the wicked home of wicked Baba Yaga. Time Life Books introduces the Enchanted World. I don't remember these guys. That's kind of neat. Enchanted World Time Life Books out of Chicago, Illinois. I don't remember these guys. Let me know if you ever had any of these or interacted with them. They look pretty neat. Roll of Books, The Words on the Ways of War by Louis Pulsifer. So we have a different bunch of reviews on different books. We have an ad for Shogun. This was a role-playing game, not a wizard or space creature. Shogun, the samurai warlord, one of the most powerful men ever to walk the earth. And this is the Armory Hobby Games Distributor, Inc. out of Greenfield. What? Greenfield? Explore the enchanted world of wizards and witches for 10 days free. A timeless piece. Oh, nice little clock. Wizard theme. Harder to come by in the 80s than you would think nowadays. Continuing on the book reviews, we get Fantasy Unlimited Reversible Hooded Cape. $66. That was a princely sum in 1984. Allow 4 to 8 weeks for delivery. And this out of Marietta, Georgia. We've taken the dice out of fighting. Nova Game Design Incorporated out of Manchester, Connecticut. This is book versus book combat. That's how Battletech started out. Right about the same time, too. Yeah, Battletech's 40 this year. Halt, who goes there? Introducing the Sentinel, an alert new NPC. I did use this class. I think I even had one player play the Sentinel. It was interesting. Limited. It was just essentially a fighter with a couple other minor abilities. Silver Dawn by Entertainment Concepts, Inc. out of Pleasant, Charlotte, North Carolina. You can enter the richest tournament in the history of correspondence gaming, Silver Dawn. Finishing out our article there. Some Refuse to Die in the Aftermath from Fantasy Games Unlimited. It's a role-playing excursion in the post-apocalyptic world, post-Holocaust world. Gimme Game World. Label your letter. If you send it to Dragon, make sure you give it a self-addressed, they know your address and your name. When it comes to dungeon design, we think we have a lot to offer. White Dwarf. Why isn't it called White Goblin? White Dwarf, when it was, had a lot of D&D and Traveler stuff in it before it became a complete Games Workshop magazine. And this out of Columbia, Maryland. It's distributed out of there. I have one or two old White Dwarfs wandering around in my collection. We finish out our article on the Sentinel, and we're the other company, Rolaids. Rolaids, the second largest line of modules in fantasy role-playing games. Mayfair Games in Chicago, Illinois. I had a fair number of those. They came and went in and out of our group, and I used to swap them with one of the other DMs that I played with. There was some pretty good stuff. If adventure has a game, it must be Indiana Jones from TSR Incorporated out of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Didn't play the Indiana Jones. Saw it a lot. Was a little interested, but never got around to playing it. I was always a little surprised we didn't because a lot of us were Indiana Jones fans. Beefing up the bureaus. Suggestions for giving agents separate skills. And this is in Top Secret. They're new. They're hot. You can get them now, only 40 years later. These are some nice looking figures. I don't think I have any of them. I might have this guy. I ended up collecting a lot of partial collections from players that left our groups. Real Partha Enterprises. This is it's distributed out of Canada in the United States. Learn Magic by the month. Dragon Quest, rules for studying spells. I played a little Dragon Quest, not a ton. It was okay. I never owned it. A buddy of mine was really excited about it. He ran it. Then we have the Complete Strategist, a series of hobby stores that I'm given to understand are still alive and well on the West Coast. The East Coast. My customers always know exactly what they want, and what they want is Real Partha. Believe me, these guys are tough customers. So some Real Partha miniatures. Where could I have gotten those? In Illinois back in the day. Brighton Park Hobby. I was at that. I went to that one. Hobby World in Glenwood. Oh yeah, I was there all the time. That was one of my regular shops. Mini Mall Hobbies, Granite City, never there. Journey and Macomb, never there. Games Plus, of course, and these guys are still there. They're just across the street. Scale Models, I was there all the time. Lyle's Hobby and Craft, I was there a lot. And the Hobby Shop in Zion, I was never there. Wow. Hobby World in Glenwood, wow. I remember that guy. That building's not even there anymore. They tore down the whole strip mall. Real Partha Enterprises. Are you missing some dragons in your lair? Here's your chance to order some back issues. So you can pick up old issues of the Dragon at pretty good pricing. Creature Catalog, a menagerie of new monsters for you. Oh yeah, these guys made it into my games quick. I loved these when they'd offer these little monster manuals, calling them Creature Catalogs. I might go through this one in deeper detail. But right now we're just going to kind of look at the pages and go, ooh, ah. I'll pick a couple out of here and I'll do some videos on them in the future. Explode Stool. Explode Stool. In my house, if somebody has Explode Stool, or sometimes called Explodo Stools, that's usually what happens. You got the lower intestinal thing going on with a nice case of the flu. We get Explodo Stools. We've used that expression, well, since 1984. Everyone in my house knows that one. The Flail Tail. This is pretty neat. I remember, Glass Pane Horror. I remember using a lot of these guys. Wow. Dark Naga. That, I think, made it into the original, or the actual stuff. The Peltast. Oh, yeah. I remember all these guys. I got to read this. I got to use some of these in my games soon. Star Leviathan, before there was any kind of Starjammer, we had stuff that lived in the astral plane. That creature wouldn't be out of place in a Spelljammer. I said Starjammer, Spelljammer. And Giant Venus Flytrap. Wow, all kinds of cool monsters. I always loved an issue of Dragon when I got that. For $3. Roll your own. Custom characters from Rapham, Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Huh. What is a monster worth? Spelling out the system for assigning XP values by Roger Moore. Roger Moore, who was also editor of The Dragon, always wrote an excellent article. I always liked his writing. And we get Dawn of the Ancients from the publishers of Earthwood. SI Game Systems in Florida to play by mail. Everyone's talking about Chill and Time Masters, state-of-the-art role-playing from Pacesetter. Pacesetter Games out of Delavan, Wisconsin. That's not too far from Lake Geneva. The Armory paints. Yes, Armory paints were really good. TSR at the time had their own line of paints. That's primarily what we used. But I used quite a few Armory paints, I'm sure. In Illinois, Mount Prospect, Games Plus, Pegasus, and Waukegan. Nope, that's Games Plus, the only one I was too. Alrighty, let's see. Dunkel Z by Troy Denning. A little bit of short fiction for us, set in 1735. And here's the other part of that flyer. This one's for We're Amazing Stories. You can tear off the little flyer and send in for your subscription. And then we're going to look at Endless Quest books from TSR. I bought one or two of these, some of the Greyhawk ones. I think I had the Gamma World one. Those are among those that kind of scratch my head and wonder what happened to. Aries Science Fiction Gaming Section, our own little magazine within a magazine. Oh, I like this a lot. Star Frontiers, the Mighty Mega Corporations. The table of contents here, plus the editorial. And then we get the Mighty Mega Corporation Star Frontiers game background. I always loved articles on Megacorps for any space game. They made it in my Traveler game a lot, or in my Star Frontiers game. Continuing on, the Amulet Collection. These are actual size, people. $8.50 for each one. Troy, Michigan. Adventure Under Other Suns from Fantasy Games Unlimited. Other Suns is science fiction role-playing, which take on the roles of any of 11 intelligent species or robots. Out of Roslyn, New York. Luna, the Empire of the Stars. The Empire and the Stars. The Moon and Other Suns game. Part of their excellent Moon series that they did in the 84 in Aries, the Aries section. This is for Other Suns. I never played Other Suns, but I know I read the article. The first annual Aries Awards. What were the best science fiction games you ever played? They're interested. They're going to give awards to them. Well, I wonder how long they kept that up. It's clobbering time. The Marvel Superheroes role-playing game will knock you out. I was aware of the Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, and I picked up one or two of the figures for it, but I didn't play it. Right? No, I did play it. That's right. I did play it for a while. A buddy of mine had it, and then I later got a copy of it. I did play it, yeah. Of grizzly bears and chimpanzees, mutant animal characters in the Gamma World game. This would be for Gamma World 2nd edition. Again, I'm very happy with this issue as a consumer. I got lots of D&D monsters, and now I've got some mutant animals for my Gamma World game. Nice charts on how to set them up. We use this a lot. I use this as ultimate character creation. And we finish out the article there. We go to Psyworld from Fantasy Games Unlimited. Role-playing game of psionic powers. The Marvel File by Jeff Grubb. We get to look at Namor the Submariner, former monarch of Atlantis, and all his stats. I liked these because they gave nice backgrounds. Tiger Shark, his arch foe. And then we get the D&D poster, sold only at Sears, available at most larger Sears retail stores and Sears 1984 Christmas catalog. Original art by Larry Elmore. I always liked that. That's neat that you could go. Sears carried a lot of stuff around here for D&D back in the day. We get a gamer's guide. These are just different smaller ads for different things. Science fiction gaming convention calendar. So if you whip up your time machine, you can go ahead and go back in time. Monster in the Middle by David D. Selinker. You could actually play a crossword puzzle for D&D. Obviously, I never filled mine in. Then we get Dragon Mirth. I always like Dragon Mirth, very often duck to the end, although once What's New left, I didn't go here first as much as I used to. While I enjoyed Wormy a great deal, here is Wormy. It wasn't the same. What's New was my favorite. But I did enjoy Wormy. I liked the artwork especially. And then, of course, Snarf Quest. Snarf Quest was around for a long time in the Pages of the Dragon. And then the tail end of the forum article and Out on the Limb, index to advertisers, and the answers to your crossword puzzle. Bog-Eyed Monsters Want Our Women, the Voyager Science Fiction and Fantasy Series. Yours for only $10 from West End Games. And then the back, Middle-earth role-playing system. This Bree and the Barrow Downs MERPs from ICE, Iron Crown Enterprises, out of Charlottesville, Virginia. Very popular. Was around for a very long time till ICE went out of business, I think in the late 90s, although they lost the license for the Tolkien stuff, I think, before that. But there you have it. That's another fine look at $3 worth of glorious enjoyment from 1984, specifically September of 84. Always loved the cover. So Dragon Magazine at the height of its powers, absolutely worth the $3, and even a little bit more by 1984. I would have been willing to go a little bit more, but they held that price for a long time. But that's all I've got today on page 121. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at Dragon from 40 years ago. I know I did. I really enjoyed this issue. But please comment and take a look at subscribing. Tell your friends. Subscribers is really, really down. I don't know why, but I'm not getting nearly the subscribers I was. Don't really know why. Viewership's also down a little bit. I don't know why that is either. If everybody has any insights into that, I'd be very interested, because I don't know what to do to kind of change the trend. But I want to thank you for your time, and please take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.